presentation is brought to you by the Beljanski Foundation. Over 50 years of research towards curing cancer the natural way.
I am the director of the Center for Nutritional Research and also the research director for the Sovereign Health Initiative Foundation. That's a 501c3 nonprofit, and our goal and mission is to help people understand the pathways of chronic disease and what we can do about it. Why is that important? Chronic disease is affecting almost everybody in this country, everybody on the planet. At one point in time or another, beginning in infancy with a lot of us, we're going to have issues with chronic disease that will accelerate. What are we talking about? What is a chronic disease? Autoimmune disease, allergies, inflammatory heart disease, cancer, arthritis is an autoimmune disease, obviously, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, okay, gut disease problems, okay, IBS, Crohn's, etc., etc. All of these are chronic diseases. And they all, in essence, what we're talking about is the basis for this. And we're looking at the fact that we spend billions of dollars a year. Last count, it was something like $10.8 billion just for herbal supplements and another 10 or 12 on vitamins and etc. And science shows that most of these won't improve our physical or mental health. Why? Some may even be dangerous. Why? And so we're going to be talking a little bit about this. I'd like to introduce you to a new way to think about this, and a new way to look at this. Time magazine said that the secret killer was inflammation. Inflammatory processes in our body go with every disease. We're not talking, when obvious, it's very obvious if it's pain in our arthritis in our joints, pain in our gut, etc. So we're going to talk about inflammation and what we can do about it. Now, the first thing I'd like you all to understand is everybody has gastrointestinal dysbiosis, like leaky gut. Leaky gut is what physicians call intestinal permeability. It's holes in your gut. Why do we all have it? We're all born with it. That's the first step of this. You're born with a leaky gut. Wow. How many of you knew that? How many of you knew that was a normal state as an infancy? Why? Because when you suckle your mother's breast, what's the first thing that happens? First thing in your life that you ever do or should do is to suckle your mother's breast to get colostrum. It comes from her breast. It's not milk, it's pre-milk. Colostrum is immune growth factors. It's not milk, it's immune growth factors. Remember that. Immune growth factors do a bunch of things. They stimulate the immune system to begin. In other words, when you're in the womb, you don't have an immune system. Nothing. Zero. All immune processes created from the first food, first substance of life. The second thing is that it can't work unless it can get into the bloodstream intact. So you have to have holes in your gut that will flow through and get into your bloodstream. This is why everybody, your dog, your cat, the porpoise and the whales and the lion and the sheep and the cows and humans all have holes in our gut so that colostrum can freely flow into the bloodstream and perform the task of creating immunity in the body and creating the immune process. So this is very, very important. Infants that are not breastfed never heal the gut. And so chronic inflammation and autoimmune diseases begin in infancy. And so this leads to chronic inflammation on a lifetime basis. We can change this by putting colostrum back in your diet at any time. It doesn't matter whether you're 95 or 10 minutes old. The colostrum will do the function the same as it will. It's irrelevant to age. The bottom line is we're talking about inflammation. What is the opioid epidemic? Why did people get on opioids? 33,000 people died of overdoses last year because they started out taking pain meds to offset inflammation. Okay? Inflammation is the key to our topic. Most supplements don't work, despite promises and testimonials to eliminate pain. They do nothing to address the cause. And so we're going to get into the very fact of the cause is that inflammation is a symptom of leaky gut syndrome. Folks, understand, if you're crossing over things that should never get into your body because of holes in your gut, this creates inflammatory processes in the body. This is the basis of inflammation. So if I'm saying this, gee, will colostrum take away inflammation and heal the gut? That's exactly what we're saying. And you can even test for this. Your physician can run blood tests for inflammatory markers, and the colostrum will bring them down and bring inflammation in your body down into normal ranges. Wow, isn't that a concept? Inflammation is the immune system's response to the crossover of toxins into the body. So what are we really talking about today? We give it another term. We'll call this chronic toxicity. Now, if you've ever been to a natural healer and they put you on a kidney cleanse or a liver cleanse, it doesn't work. Why? You'd have to do it every damn week. Why? Because you can't stop the cause. You've got to heal the leaky gut, or any of the other measures that you do are fruitless. You can't do food elimination diets. All it will do is eliminate the symptoms of the foods you're allergic to. How do you get allergic to foods? Because you got holes in your gut and that food's passing into your bloodstream and the body creates antibodies against that food. You can't be allergic to something unless it's getting internally into your body. And so how do we stop this? We have to heal the leaky gut, okay? These are all of the obvious conditions that a leaky gut creates. Cognitive disorders, mental disorders. We mentioned Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. How do you test for Alzheimer's, by the way? To test for early onset Alzheimer's. You run a blood test for IL-6, interleukin 6, and if you have an overabundance of interleukin 6 in the body, you know the blood-brain barrier is being permeated and destroyed, and that Alzheimer's is on an early onset basis for you, okay? It's a simple test. So if we bring down IL-6 markers in the blood with taking colostrum, we can help delay the onset of Alzheimer's and turn it around. Oh, guess what? We actually have run clinical studies to prove that colostrum does this. So mental health issues. 3 weeks ago in the New York Times, there was an article about the fact that depression is related to inflammation in the body. Folks, inflammation, and going right back to the original topic of this discussion. Neurological diseases, amputations for diabetic type 2, neurological, a lack of blood flow in the body. Food allergies, we mentioned that those are symptoms of leaky gut. Skin conditions, why are skin conditions? Your skin is a reflection of internal health, always, always. So when your liver is overtoxed, how does that happen? Leaky gut, you got all this garbage flowing into your bloodstream. The liver tries to deal with it, tries to deal with that by detoxing your body. When it is overrun, what is the second largest detox organ in your body? Your skin. And so when you have psoriasis, you have when you have eczema, when you have any kind of skin outbreaks, if you're not healing on an outside basis because you've been injured, you're slow to heal, always your skin is a reflection of internal health. Which means we have overtoxicity going on in the body, which means that we have to go in and stop the cause. Again, we have to get back into the gut. Degenerative joint conditions, all autoimmune diseases begin with a leaky gut. GI and bowel disease, that's just a common one, okay? Vascular and circulation problems arise because of this. The next thing is, how do we measure inflammation? We can do a blood test for fasting glucose, hemoglobin A1C, that's a glucose measure. Insulin levels, insulin resistance can be measured, C-reactive protein and interleukin 6. By the way, these are the blood tests we recommend your physician perform on you prior to taking colostrum, and then watch all of these come back into normal ranges with the colostrum on a continual basis. Every one of these will come down with regular colostrum use. When you have inflammation, everything's a mess. Everything that's wrong with you is an inflammatory process. When we start to control inflammation, the whole body is going to get better. This is Tom Wyatt. He's a pharmacist, clinician. In other words, this is one of the most intelligent and incredible pharmacists, pharmacological experts in the world, and he's prescribing colostrum to every patient he sees. Tom sees patients directly. In the last 6 months, he's put 1,000 of his patients on colostrum, and 9 out of 10 of these, over 90% of them, have seen improvements that are so incredible that he has made it his dedicated mission to teach other pharmacists all over the world that they need to be recommending colostrum to every patient that they see. This is his mission in life at this time. Treatments for leaky gut are like Band-Aids. The current treatments that the doctors are using are not effective. Why? What are they doing? We're taking a look at eliminating foods that you're allergic to. Will that heal the leaky gut? Will that heal and stop the process of damaged plumbing in your body? No. All this will do, if you're allergic to peanuts and you don't eat peanuts, you're not going to have the symptoms of that allergy show up. That's all it's going to do, is eliminate symptoms. It will not heal the leaky gut. Probiotics, they won't colonize without colostrum. What does colostrum do to allow probiotics to colonize? Probiotics destroys the pathogens in your gut, giving room for the beneficial bacteria to grow. It's the immunoglobulins and the lactoperoxidase and all of the other components in colostrum that destroy pathogens. You can't colonize without colostrum. What do probiotics do in the body? Crowd out bad bacteria. That's its primary purpose. That's it. They provide some vitamins. Some B vitamins come from probiotics. There's some nutritional components that come from probiotics, but they will not heal the leaky gut. Essential oils and herbs. There's an herb on the planet that will stimulate repair of damaged tissue. You need growth factors to do that. Colostrum contains skin growth hormones that are exactly what stimulates repair of damage in the body. And amino acids and mineral supplements are currently being prescribed by doctors. Glutathione and L-glutamine. All of these are antioxidants, and all an antioxidant is going to do in the body is prevent mitochondrial damage. It will not stimulate the repair of damage. It will help prevent some damage. Oh, and by the way, L-glutamine and glutathione are in abundance in colostrum, so you don't even need to do these because you get it automatically by taking the colostrum. So bottom line, if you're being treated for leaky gut, and you should be, every one of you, because leaky gut is an epidemic and every one of us has it. How can you prove that? Really simple. Go take a blood test for food allergies. And if you have any, you have leaky gut syndrome. I guarantee you, you will all fail. You will all fail that test. And so, if we want to deal with this, we're going to have to get back into what Mother Nature developed. Mother Nature developed colostrum for a purpose of making the gut what we call in perfect homeostasis. That's a medical term for perfection, balance. Formulas that do now, a lot of the herbal formulas, and I just want to touch on this, a lot of people go out and buy herbal formulas that are formulated by doctors and scientists, etc., supposedly. And what you need to understand is when you get an herbal formula, you never get a therapeutic dose of the components that are in it. The clinical studies that were done on each of the components in these formulas were greatly higher, more than what is put in the formulas. And so when you have a formula that has that all of the clinical work on it required 500 milligrams a day, and you're not getting 500 milligrams in that formula of that specific component, that formula will not perform. And that's predominantly what's being sold in the market throughout this country on formulas that have been put together. Efficacy studies on these formulas that have been put together by these companies are never done. They're done on the individual components that are used to formulate these. So there's no proof that these things work. Number two, the last one is that formulas, a lot of these formulas have interreactions that they've never tested for, interreactions between the components that they've never tested for. So we end up with a lot of allergens and potential side effects that can be harmful. A lot of the supplement shortfalls do not contain living components. In other words, they're not tested for bioactivity. They're not tested for contamination. In a lot of cases, we get our supplements from China. China's had a tremendous problem with contamination, with melamine and other things in the components. I wouldn't take, and Whole Foods doesn't even allow Chinese components to become into the, and there's no liposomal delivery mechanism. The liposome is critical for preventing digestion of the components. Mammalian immune modulators and growth factors, not herbs, stimulate tissue repair. Not herbs. Bioidentical mammalian modulators and growth factors and immune factors. The only place you get these is colostrum or milk. Raw milk has them in small amounts, raw, fresh milk. So if you got a goat or a cow in the backyard, great. If you don't, you need colostrum. Colostrum is the most powerful healing substance in the world. If it wasn't for colostrum, the human race wouldn't even exist. Many people are not breastfed, and babies that are not breastfed long enough don't ever heal the existing permeability that exists at the time of birth. Holes in the small intestine reopen later. The biggest contaminant, the biggest cause of leaky gut is pain medications. The second biggest cause are antibiotics. The third biggest cause is glyphosate. How many of you know what glyphosate is? You ever heard of Roundup? You know Roundup is sprayed on your wheat and corn crops in this country? All of them, unless it's organic. So if you're eating bread here today, or you're eating any corn products, you're eating glyphosate. What is glyphosate? It kills plants. What are the beneficial bacteria in your gut? They're plants. So what happens to all the good stuff in your gut? It's dead. So you can't possibly maintain homeostasis if you're eating wheat and corn in this country. You can't do it. What is fed wheat and corn in this country? Our animals are. So even if you don't eat it, if you don't eat or truly grass-fed organic meats, you're eating that. Antibiotics are put into our animal feeds. They're put into our seafood farms, etc. Colostrum is the only thing that was designed by nature to heal and create that homeostasis in the gut. And it's the only thing that's been clinically proven to perform this in human trials. Colostrum helps heal and prevent leaky gut, regulate inflammation, return the body to homeostasis, to balance, decrease inflammation and pain, eliminate gut-based infections. It can help eliminate infections throughout the body, can fight bacterial and viral bacterial and viral infections. It stimulates the endocrine system to produce more hormones, to keep us young, to keep us active, to keep our lean muscle, to keep us strong, to keep us mobile as we age. It helps increase that lean muscle and strength. If you take colostrum on a regular basis and you need to lose weight, I'm going to give you a weight loss formula. Colostrum 4 times a day, 2 teaspoons in water, morning, mid-afternoon, and before you go to bed, and don't eat any simple carbohydrates. Take them out of your diet entirely. That means no sugar, white flour, no pastas, okay? And the pounds will fall off of you. The insulin levels will come back into normal ranges. Inflammatory will come back into normal ranges. A side effect for colostrum, a wonderful one, you get rid of osteoporosis. Colostrum stimulates the repair of bones, stimulates and accelerates the recovery from injuries. You can use colostrum topically on wounds and burns, and it accelerates the healing. Colostrum LD is the only one capable of performing this, because without the liposomal delivery, the colostrum is just digested. So colostrum LD, you can find this online. You can find it at Amazon. We have samples back here for you. The cards that were handed out to you have Q codes on them. If you'll download a Q code app, you can go to Google and do that. Just type in Q code, download the app, take a shot of the Q codes on the cards we handed. You're going to find a wonderful video on there that physicians have prepared, and you're going to be able to see what's happening in their practice and with their patients when you do that. And we also have our site for retail site, so you can go directly onto the site and find our products. We don't sell colostrum in stores. It's sold strictly and only online.